Test, test. 1, 2. 1, 2. Test, 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 test. Ah, okay. There we go. Okay, that's a relief. Test, test, test. 1, 2. 1, 2. Test, test, test. All good. Check, check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Check, check, check. Test, test. 1, 2. 1, 2. This is with the volume boosted on the master audio of the mixer. I'll also bring this down a little bit. Test, test, 1, 2. Test, 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 1, 2. Oh, okay, yep. Well, I can definitely hear myself, so that's something. Comparatively speaking, at least. Okay. Test, test, test. 1, 2. I said that more times today than the entire rest of the season so far.
season. Our major partner, MKD Transport, committed to reliability. Our gold partners, PCFS Logistics, for your freight forwarding needs. The Glad Group, Pino's Dolce Vita Fine Foods. Simico Partners, Taxation and Advisory Services. MDL Customs and Compliance. Marco Polo Foods, fine foods from across the sea. And all of our silver sponsors, Borgia Australia, Your Consolidated Group, the City Group, Tempe Tyres, Ganasha Scaffolding, B&B Bricklaying, Level 33 Developers, Swift Air, Vortex Group, Mark Consulting, Borga Cranes, HD Wills Real Estate Agents, Nishi Sushi Restaurant, Bella Transport, Rick's Specialist Contracting, Sydney Civil, Superbird, Lang & Simmons St George, Liquor Stacks Reedsby, Broad Air, Joe's Poultry, Direct Inject, BA Architecture, Chemist Hub Rockdale, Zoomway, SCIS Property Group, Zapier Produce Group, EMC Civil, Jared Maloof and Partners Solicitors, Sydney White Building Supplies, River Austin Catering Equipment for the Serious Chef, Adcall Services, William Roberts Lawyers, and Tiny's Cocktails. We also want to thank our 2025 suppliers, AVH Audio Visual, Son of a Baker Bakeries, KST Buses, Visco Foods, and our 2025 apparel partner, Stano. Just a reminder about some upcoming fixtures. Tonight's game is NPL action, but next Tuesday night we're back at home here in the Australia Cup against local rival Sutherland. 7:30 p.m. kickoff next Tuesday night here, Rockdale and Sutherland in the Australia Cup round 5 qualifiers. team lineups for this evening's fixture as follows. For the home team, Rockdale Ilinden, number 1, Nick Soros, number 2, Hunter Elliott, number 4, James Nikolowski, number 5, Giorgio Speranza, number 6, Isaac Danzo, number 7, and captain Alec Kurushevsky, number 9, Woody Najar, number 10, Brendan Chalakian, number 11, Lockie Constable, number 22, Blake Rashudo, number 24, Ali Orvale. Substitutes for the home team, number 14, Braden Sorge, number 17, Braden Evans, number 18, Jordy Growski, number 20, Ronan Mulgrew, number 88, Chris McStay, and number 99, Matty Karamelovski. Our visitors, their team lineup is as follows. Number 2, Nathan Barry, number 5, Lockie Tilt, number 9, Alat Abdul Rahman, number 10, Edmund Haddad, number 18, Awan Lual, number 20, Lucas Sinnott, number 26, Anthony Barbie, number 27, Julian Kopp, number 31, Aidan Simmons, number 32, Saxon Hillier, number 34, Meliwetu Akomo. Substitutes for the visitors, number 6, Riley Hollingdale, number 7, Dalio Sandy, number 11, Khan Nizam, number 30, Marcus Petrowski, number 38, Noel Peacock. Let's hear it for your Rockdale Ilinden FC.
Six head-to-head meetings, or 5 head-to-head meetings, 26 goals. If history has taught us anything, it's that when the red and black sides of Sydney collide, you best strap in for a wild ride. Good evening and welcome to the Ilinden Sports Centre for a big Saturday night long weekend clash between the 4th place Rockdale Ilinden and the visiting Western Sydney Wanderers. A big match about to get underway here in Rockdale as the reigning premiers return to their home turf, looking to go 4 games unbeaten in all competitions. And they come home to their fortress riding high off the back of another Rockdale rescue mission at the Sydney United Sports Centre last week, where goals from Blake Rashudo and Ali Ugla helped to secure a 3-1 win from an earlier 1-0 deficit. They are just so good at finding results from behind and against the odds, and that is a fate that the visiting Western Sydney Wanderers will be hoping to avoid. There was real concerns for them in the opening couple of months of the season, but how different has that felt in the last couple of weeks? A Sydney derby draw backed up by another clean sheet and a win last week, a very impressive one at that, at home to Manly United last week, courtesy of goals from Julian Kopp and Aidan Simmons. And they are hoping, Richie Cardozo's side, to keep the good times rolling now that they've lifted themselves off the foot of the NPL New South Wales table. They proved a tough customer, both home and away, for Ilinden last season. Valiant in defeat in both of their 2024 meetings. And if they want to get more points to pull themselves away from the bottom end of the table, they will need to go one better this evening. Both of those games ended 3-2 in favour of Ilinden. If we get something like that tonight, well, this should be a cracker for your Saturday night long weekend. Pleasure to have your company for it. Lockie Flanagan on the gantry for you as we get set to go. It'll be Western Sydney in the white to kick us off. They make 2 changes from that 2-0 win against Manly United, and big ones at that, both to the back line. Tristan Vidakovic, who's been one of the goalkeepers of the season, unavailable tonight, so in comes Lucas Sinot for a first start of the season. The other replacement, Anthony Barbic, who comes into the side for just a 3rd start, his first since the 15th of March, in place of the absent Ricky Franson. As the Wanderers get us underway on Saturday night football, 1 change, and you just saw that change retrieve possession for Rockdale. Blake Rashudo, after his late heroics again for Rockdale, comes into the defence in place of Matt Karamalevsky, who drops to the bench. Plenty of evidence in the past to suggest that regardless of where these two sit on the table, They usually turn it on for whoever chooses to watch. Hopefully that's plenty of you at home. There's a good few here too at the Ilinden Sports Centre as Hunter Elliott marches forward. And supplies on the right-hand side, Moody Najjar. And now the cross is a big up and under from Constable, and so Oglar will have to track back. And he did well to do that. Speranza. Oglar. Reinforcements from Speranza, and Urashevsky was lurking, but they head her away by Lachlan Tilt. It'll be really interesting to see what Wanderers side emerges today, and they've got a decent opportunity on the break here, but the flag is going to come up against Alat Abdul Rahman. And you can, of course, get the replay going and the pause and rewind features if you're watching on the NPL New South Wales YouTube page. You can even slow it down to half speed if you want to do some home VAR, but I reckon the linesman got that one spot on. As now it's Rockdale's number 9 looking to do the business. He was onside, Moody Najjar, and he's taking on all comers, squaring it into the middle, and it's cleared away by the Wanderers' defence. Constable to the byline. Plenty of early energy from Ilinden. And Urashevsky! Oh, great save, Lucas Sinot. Well, for the young keeper making his first appearance of the season, there are few opponents more fearsome. And the competition's leading goal scorer with 12 already, Alek Urashevsky. And while it was at the keeper, he did well to palm that one away. And this game has had all the early energy you'd hope and, dare I say it, expect of a matchup that has delivered scorelines of 3-2, 3-2, and 3-3 in as many meetings. The most recent of those, an absolute barn burner. A famous Ilinden comeback as that ball is sent over the top in search of Najjar. As Nathan Barry managed to glance it away. Najjar just left it for Elliott, who canters forward. Dunzo. Speranza. End-to-end stuff. It is a breakneck fixture at the moment. Knocked away by Tilt. And in the corner and to the turf was Antoni Babic. So it's a new central defensive partner tonight for Nathan Barry. Not a new partner in the defence. Lockie Tilt has been playing right back in the last couple of weeks. Not his natural position as well. He is, I believe, predominantly a centre-back, so into his normal role. As the Wanderers have got possession courtesy of that Awan Lual free kick. He was one of the goal scorers for the Wanderers. Their last visit to Ilinden. So plenty of energy early doors. And just to circle back to that game, it was a game that the Wanderers led 2-0. Courtesy of that man, Awan Lual, and also Dallo Sandy, who's on the bench. Only for Rockdale to do what Rockdale do best. Lockie Constable in first half stoppage time. Hunter Elliott in the 76th minute, and then Blake Rashudo with what's becoming a almost trademark late Blake Rashudo winner. Of course, his goal last week in the 89th minute. Not the final against Sydney United, but it was the one that restored them the lead. So I think we'll give him the term of winning goal on a technicality. And Cornwall. Up goes Simmons, but without reaching the ball. And it was a bit too hot to handle that time from his midfield compatriot in Saxon Hillier. Well won back though by Simmons, who wants to set Alan Abdul Rahman on his way. And set him through. He does. It's a huge chance for the Wanderers. Abdul Rahman just pulls it. A huge reprieve for Rockdale in the early knockings. It was an inch-perfect pass over the top from Aidan Simmons. And Alat Abdul Rahman who has scored one already this season. Really should have had two. And now Rockdale carried it the other way. It's Ugla. In the middle was Urashevsky. Dunzo. Speranza gives chase. And arrives. Oh, with the speed and intensity we've seen inside the opening 6 minutes here at the Ilinden Sports Centre, you can't help but feel an opening goal is not that far away. Of course, I don't want to fall victim to the commentator's curse, but the early signs of a good game of football are definitely here for your Saturday night. As there are players on the turf everywhere in the Ilinden penalty area, the cross comes to none of them. It's a strong header from Nikolovsky. And Cormore. Delicate pass to Simmons. Wanderers playing in the face of some pressure here, but thus far doing well to work their way around it. Eventually it does pay though. Still been an off-the-ball incident there between Hunter Elliott and the Wanderers defender, so our referee Eric Saba is going to award a free kick in Rockdale's favour. And doing their match analysis, Richie Cardozo and his coaching team will have watched that game against Sydney United last week and be well aware of the set-piece threat that Ilinden offer. It is a big test tonight for the Wanderers. Obviously, it's the reigning premiers, but after a brighter couple of weeks, this is a chance to really test themselves and build their confidence against one of the best sides. Well, they've got results at home. Away, it's still been fleeting. Just one win in their last 15 on the road. 5 of a possible 45 points. If they're going to pull away from the drop zone, continue that charge up the table, that needs to change. And they need to keep Ilinden at bay as Ugla makes it pretty easy for Lucas Sinot. Former Apia junior is Lucas Sinot. First appearance of the season, as we mentioned. Not his first in the NPL for Western Sydney Wanderers. Had a handful in season 2024. Debut in February against Hills United. Some of you may actually remember a fantastic late save he made in that game against Hills. Nikolovsky. One stopped in its tracks by Aidan Simmons. As Rockdale look to work on what has been a sticking point so far this season, and that is getting off to a fast start. They have only scored first in 4 of their 10 games this season. While we do revere them for their ability to come back from behind, and they've already done it multiple times this season, they will want, over the course of a 30-game campaign, to start making the points safer earlier, lest the magic run out. Kopp somehow manages to keep the ball and win it back. Simmons with a snapshot. The space opened up, but I just don't know how Julian Kopp managed to not lose that in the face of studs in every direction. One of their bright sparks last week in the Manly United win, Julian Kopp, scorer of the opening goal on minute 44 in quite fine fashion. Past Levi Kay. Broke a goal drought of a good 270 minutes for the Wanderers. The defence is going to be put under a test here as it's swung in the Urashevsky direction. The last touch was off a Wanderers defender, so it's a Rockdale corner. And Najjar, or rather it's a throw. And Najjar is going to leave that duty to Hunter Elliott. Short for Dunzo. Couldn't activate the 1-2. And robbed of possession by Abdul Rahman. It is a feisty affair early doors at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Well judged by Barry. No whistle from the referee. Play continues despite the challenges of Giorgio Speranza. And eventually the referee will pull back for a free kick in the Wanderers' favour. Giorgio Speranza did have a few nibbles at a few different players. It was Edmund Haddad, I believe, the player who went down in the first foul. Well, the first foul appeal from the Wanderers, only for the second to be given. Nathan Barry. So, heavy pass back from Saxon Hillier. Up and under from Cormo. And Elliott couldn't take that one on the turn. Ten ladder positions separating these two heading into the weekend. You wouldn't know it on the competitiveness of the opening 10. It's the Wanderers who have had the best chance through this man, Alad Abdul Rahman. Finds support in the form of Nkomo. Abdul Rahman looked to wrap his boot around it. Just couldn't quite. It's a hot football. Haddad still going. Lovely fast feet. And now Simmons! So close! Well, Edmund Haddad is down in the turf in some discomfort, and the medical treatment will come on for him. And Aidan Simmons will be left to rue what might have been. He was slipped in after a beautiful run by Edmund Haddad, and it just bounced its way tantalisingly past the far post and the frame of goal. And you just wonder if maybe Rockdale keeper Patrick Soros got a touch to that. We turn our attention. Yeah, he must have, because the referee has awarded a corner, so not going to a finger of blame at how the Wanderers have not scored the opener. Turns away from Aidan Simmons and towards the brilliant shot stopping of Patrick Soros. And we'll keep an eye out on Edmund Haddad, because we can't overlook his brilliant fast feet to create the opportunity and round a couple of Rockdale defenders in the first place. The Wanderers have had two gilt-edged chances inside the first 15 to open the scoring. And it looks to be a bit of a routine here. Punched away by Soros. Claims of a hold from Richie Cardozo as Lachlan Tilt went to the turf. Players dropping like flies left, right and centre. It is full-blooded football for your Saturday night at the Ilinden Sports Centre. And Edmund Haddad is back onto the field, which is great to see. Najjar. Have a handful of Rockdale players who used to call this Wanderers Academy setup home. He was a National Youth League champion in the red and black of Western Sydney back in 2018, back when the National Youth League was still a thing. Just went on to make nearly 50 appearances in the A-League, debuting against the Wanderers for Melbourne City and then moving on to MacArthur. And this time Lawal is onside and he's charging forward and the touches are heavy and the cross is in. But it's not one that finds a willing teammate. And the second touch was a very firm one from Lawal. He perhaps left himself with a little bit too much work to do. To be fair to him, there were only a couple of players to pick out. Shalakian loses out to Lawal in midfield. Richie Cardozo will be really enjoying what he's seeing from his side so far as Elliott flies in. All ball. One Lawal not able to turn provider there. Did get the assist for the opener last week. Has been one of the Wanderers' more impressive players this season. Particularly when you consider what he's been battling while trying to play. I'm told he's been dealing with osteitis pubis, which can be a very, very painful injury to deal with indeed. Yet he is managing to start week in, week out, but still managing his minutes. He has to complete a full 90. Speranza just left himself with a little bit too much work that time. As we head towards 20 minutes played at the Ilinden Sports Centre. No goal yet, but not for lack of trying. Uglar outside of the football. Won't reach Shalakian. And Lawal on the march again. Oh, if the touch was just a fraction more supple, that would have been a 2-on-2 for the Wanderers against the Rockdale defence. And we do know how much they like to get the fullbacks forward. Speranza and Hunter Elliott, but it's not the first, and if things keep going, not the last time that the Wanderers might find themselves with a bit of open pasture to counter into on the flanks. Nikolovsky away. Shalakian hits the deck, and the referee obliges. It's Saxon Hillier, the guilty party, who turns his attention to the felled Brendan Shalakian. Haven't seen too much of the 32-year-old midfield maestro so far. I suspect that will change over time, though. That's forward and played really nicely and cut back for Urashevsky. Another great save from Sinot, but it's turned in eventually. And after waiting 2 months for his first Rockdale goal, Ali Uglar is catching fire. He's being credited with the final touch, and if it is his, it's his third goal in the space of 2 games. And Rockdale have been on the back foot, but for just the 5th time this season, they open the scoring. It was an attempted clearance in the Wanderers' back four after a great save from Saxon Hillier, and I reckon Ali Uglar just nipped in there to get a final touch to turn it goalwards. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of conjecture about how these 3 star Rockdale forwards can link up and work together. With Udashevsky doing so much of the heavy lifting where goals are concerned early doors. And Ali Ugla is really starting to chip in now. And that will feel like a gut punch for the Wanderers, who really, on the value of their chances, should probably be ahead. But football's not a game of creating chances, it's a game of taking them. And the Wanderers will look to take one now, but that's a poor cut back from Abdul Rahman. Did well, though, to win it back. As the cross is in from Haddad, Simmons was not far away. But it's out for a goal kick, and I have to say, watching that goal back on the replay, Brendan Chalakian's ears must have been burning. We're discussing how he hasn't been too involved early doors, and he goes on a lung-busting run down the right-hand side, beats a couple of defenders to cut it back to Udashevsky, and then after the save from Sinot, Ali Ugla does the rest. And probably not the first nor the last person to learn the lesson to write off Brendan Chalakian at your peril. And here he is again. Delightful ball. Udashevsky was offside. The ball in behind from Brendan Chalakian was masterful. I'm curious to see how Rockdale reacts to this rare position of early ascendancy that they find themselves in, courtesy of Ali Ugla's opening goal. It's just the 5th time they've scored first this season. Last time they did that at home, NWS Spirit found a way to come back in as the cross deflects off the boot of Hunter Elliott, who keeps it alive, stands it up. Chalakian, I think it was friendly fire. Ugla did the defending on behalf of the Wanderers there. Chalakian angles the ball in, and Ugla just couldn't work it towards goal. It's played quickly into a slightly dangerous area for Saxon Hillier. Yeah, of the 18 points that Rockdale have accrued going into this season, 14 of them have come courtesy of comeback performances. Already come back to win 4 games this season. Come back to draw 2. Simmons was felt legally in the eyes of Eric Saba. So too Chalakian. Haddad evades the challenge. Great to see him back up to his feet. And looking to provide the ball inside was Alat Abdul Rahman. That is we know that Ilinden are a good comeback team, but almost all of your points coming from backs to the wall turnaround performances is remarkable. As that corner is punched away by Saurus and right into the lap of their chief chance creator, Chalakian, launching it over the top. Udashevsky moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour and crossing it in! And making it so easy for Ali Ugla to secure a quick fire brace. It's 2 for Rockdale, and it's 2 for their number 24. Counter-attacking play at its best. Chalakian's ball over the top. Udashevsky's cross was on a platter. And after weeks and weeks of threatening of maybe moments in front of goal, well, we can definitively say now that Ali Ugla has caught fire. You get the sense now that that comeback ability may not be required by Rockdale this evening. It might in fact be the Wanderers who will need to stir up some back-to-the-wall stuff. Abdul Rahman, easy pickings for Patrick Saurus. For Nick Saurus, I should say. Apologies for that. It was a fantastic second goal. Udashevsky, the great goal scorer that he is, could so easily have tried to go for the glory himself, but put it on a platter for Ali Oglar. The 23-year-old gets it done in style. This could be trouble as Ilinden bring the press, but the Wanderers clever enough to work their way around. And it's a tough spot that they find themselves in. It's an unlucky spot for Richie Cardozo's men, it has to be said. Because 2-0, I think you could argue that it's not a scoreline that's reflective of how this game has actually panned out. But the Wanderers now in a situation where they're going to have to at least to do something that they've only been able to do twice this campaign, which is score multiple goals in a game. Obviously that win last week against Manly and in defeat to NWS Spirit. Oglar, who is eyeing off a first half hat-trick, is flagged offside that time around. Over the top it goes. Simmons picks up the second ball and gets on the charge. And Cormor cross deflected and tipped away nicely by Nick Saurus. Had to readjust quickly as the cross took a heavy deflection. But readjust he did. Nick Saurus into his second season of a return to Rockdale with more work to do. In comes the corner and Saurus does get the work done. And is the break on again for Blake. Rashudo forward to Oglar. The numbers filter in. The cross is over the top and Udashevsky forced to retreat. Danger not done though for the Wanderers. The back heel, brilliant Udashevsky! It's just fantastic football. It's a 13th of the season for Alec Udashevsky, and it is anything but unlucky. The back heel to set up, brilliance from the Baker. And unbelievably, and out of nowhere, Rockdale have sailed away in this game and lead at 3-0 with less than a half hour of football played. And that is one you will want to watch again a few times. Udashevsky had to retreat after a heavy cross. The back heel was inch perfect. And when Alec Udashevsky gets a pocket of space, you can be reasonably assured of what is going to come next. $13 already. We've played not even a full 11 rounds, for those of you who weren't aware. even by his standards, he is going absolutely gangbusters this season, the Baker. Over the top it goes. Could there be more pain for the Wanderers? It's left for Urashevsky to drive it in, and it's spilled. It's a first-half hat-trick. Ali Ugla is having the night of his life at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Three goals for the man who a couple of weeks ago was yet to score. And it took him all of 31 minutes. Well, when things are going your way, they are going your way. Ali Ugla is riding the hot hand. 2 goals against Sydney United to lift his confidence. And then a 31-minute first half hat-trick to make it 4-0 to Rockdale. Well, 26 goals in 5 head-to-head meetings going into tonight. We knew this was one was going to deliver goals. There might be more. Najjar has just overcooked his effort that time. But there was every skerrick of evidence that this game would deliver goals. And even despite the disparity on the table of these two teams, I don't think many, if any, expected another Wanderers v Rockdale goal fest to look quite like this after 32 minutes. And the craziness of it all is that the Wanderers should have scored at least 2 goals. It's been an utterly bizarre first half at the Ilinden Sports Centre. But if you're a Rockdale fan, you are loving every minute. Abdul Rahman, blocked by Rashudo. Urashevsky bends his run and will eventually win after the aerial scraps. Flying in came Tilt. Urashevsky wins it anyway. Can't get the beating of the young defender at the second time of asking. Well, if ever you needed a reminder that this Rockdale side, at their best, are one of the competition's most devastating attacking forces, we have sent that reminder to the rest of the comp. And Cornwall. Where do the Wanderers go from here? They must be absolutely discombobulated right now, these young stars. There have been performances this season where they've been blown away, not playing particularly well, and can't make much of an argument as to their personal misfortune affecting the result, but they were good. They were really good in the first 20 minutes. And it is, if it were going to happen, going to have to be the comeback to eclipse even the greatest of Ilinden comebacks if they turn this one around. The good news is they've got plenty of time, and Rockdale, for all their attacking prowess, have only kept the 1 clean sheet this season. This has been the greater issue. Rockdale are just turning it on now. The ball in towards Chalakian. Any touch, and that could have been big danger to the net of Lucas Sinnott. Who I would imagine will be feeling a little rocked. So he made some great saves as well in the early knockings to deny Urashevsky, but will be trying to pick himself up after spilling the cross for the most recent of 4 goals right at the lap of Ali Ogla. Barry breaks the lines for Haddad, who's looked really, really impressive, but he's just overcooked that pass. Nixoris comes out and pops that one away. Lual flicks it back. Hillier almost shoulders it to Julian Kopp. Haddad turned away by Constable. In comes Najjar and wins back the football, but for a brief moment. We've still got 10 minutes. If you include whatever stoppage time, it'll be at least 1 minute of this first half to go. Aiden Simmons, the space opens up for him. Lual cuts it square. Side netting. I think the last touch was off Hunter Elliott, so the Wanderers will get a corner. And you can hear the instructions from Richie Cardozo, hopefully through our effects mic, who is urging the referee team to keep an eye on Blake Rashudo. There's been a few accusations of the Rockdale defender tugging at the shirts of Wanderers players trying to attack the corner. There was a vehement shout for exactly that sort of thing in the lead up to a couple of the Ilinden breakaway goals, as it's allowed to bounce in the middle. No such issues this time around. And Abdul Rahman was just coming back from an offside position. Perhaps Edmund Haddad would have been better placed to latch onto that one. Flicked over the top by Urashevsky. Hillier. A lucky boy. Could have been danger if that pass went anywhere else. They are putting the Wanderers under the cosh. Rockdale right now. And a bit of conjecture. Urashevsky wanted the ball to go out. Como had no interest, but eventually decides to do the sporting thing. Richie Cardozo not best pleased. If I heard correctly, I think he was accusing his team of being too nice that time around. And we've now gone a whole 7 minutes without a goal after a veritable flurry of them. 4 goals in 12 minutes, so the eyebrows that no doubt shot to the roof of your forehead, but mine certainly did, have probably had enough time now just to reset to their natural position. And it's been quite the evening across NPL New South Wales from the sounds of things. Over at Barton Park, actually not far from here, St George FC locked it 2-2 with a 10-men Sydney United. 4 goals there inside the opening 30 minutes. While normalcy is resumed or contained out in Fairfield, where Marconi lead 1-0 against the Central Coast Mariners, courtesy of a goal from George Daniel. So this chaos that we've seen so far at the Ilinden Sports Centre, clearly infectious, as both teams take the chance just to regroup here. As Lockie Constable gets the treatment that he requires. I hope he is all good to continue, the Rockdale midfielder, because that trio of he, Isaac Danzo and Brendan Chalakian have almost been a set and forget of late. That's how good they've been. Danzo and Chalakian in particular playing every single game bar one of the last 42. And unfortunately, it is the end of the day for Lockie Constable. So that's an outcome that takes the shine somewhat with this 4-0 position of ascendancy. I hope that is nothing too serious for Lockie Constable. Matt Keremalevsky will come on to replace him. So he was dropped to the bench by the Ilinden coaching staff for this game, but hasn't had to wait too long to return to the team after back-to-back starts. But I'm certainly sure it's not the entry that he would have liked, given the context. It's just to the right of your screen, currently off frame, but I think you might slowly be coming back into it, is very slowly advancing Lockie Constable. Not long now for him to reach the Ilinden bench, where I'm sure the likes of Paul D and Paddy Nekus will be waiting to check in on his welfare. And as we head towards the break, it's really the only thing that the coaching group of the reigning premiers will have to worry about. Oh, Sinot's gone down after some attention from Uroshevsky. All fair in the eyes of Eric Saba. Haddad looks to launch it over the top for Alat Abdul Rahman. Is there a positive note at the end of this half for the Wanderers? Abdul Rahman saved and knocked home on the follow-up. Aiden Simmons, the captain, stands and delivers again. And it's a long road back for the Wanderers. But before the halftime break, they are at the very least on the road. And it's a second goal in the space of 2 games for Aiden Simmons. And after making the initial stop, not much Nick Soros could do about the follow-up. It's a 5th goal in 44 minutes of football at the Ilinden Sports Centre. This fixture's track record of delivering goals aplenty for both sides is proving true once again. If they score another before the break, this is really interesting. And come on! Had a bit behind it, that one. Here's a full-back in this Wanderers unit, Richard Nkomo, but he can hit them. has already scored one very nice goal this season as we get 4 more minutes added on by the 4th official, Rory McFarlane, to an utterly fascinating first half at the Ilinden Sports Centre. We wouldn't even be surprised if there's one more goal in that 4 minutes of stoppage. It's been that sort of fixture. Pumped away by Nikolovsky. And just eased back to Sinot. And again, that space on the left channel is there for Nkomo to attack. Rudy Najar doing some good tracking back that time. We'll be hoping to get in on the scoring act tonight. Nkomo, not clear. Cop fires. Nick Souris watches that one past his net. And their hopes of a second clean sheet of the season dashed. Lockie Constable lost to injury. That's taken the shine off this first half display somewhat for Rockdale, but I still think they'll be pretty happy. Karamalevsky. This is good football. Chalakian. There's a bit of a cul-de-sac of Wanderers players. Ooh, and there was a bit of a backslap there from Chalakian on Nathan Barry. And it's getting a bit unsightly here. Players coming in from every direction. Work for the referee to do. There's no doubt that there was a clear cut and dry foul by Nathan Barry, just shoving through the back of Brendan Chalakian, but it's the response of Rockdale's number 10 and suggestions of a potential stamp by Paul D that are just calling into question if any further action is required here. And indeed, Nathan Barry is going to be called over. Is this just for a talking to, or is there a card coming? There is. It's a yellow, and I would fancy here that Brendan Chalakian is going to be subject to the same treatment, and indeed he is. And yet more incident is added to this first half, which has already delivered so much. And at the end of all of this, we are going to come back to this free kick. As Richie Cardozo and Paul D engage in a war of words as Chalakian whips it in beautifully. And sadly, for Moody Najar, the header was up but not away. But Rockdale won't be worried, as a truly fascinating first half at the Ilinden Sports Centre comes to a close. The reigning premiers flexing their attacking muscles, leading 4-1 at the break. But how different a story it could have been inside the opening 20 minutes. Western Sydney burning 2 gilt-edged chances to open the scoring. And those misfires, all the opening that Rockdale required to not just take the ascendancy, but for their star-studded attack to explode. Ali Oglar got the first on the 20-minute mark, and that set about a run of 12 goals, 4 goals in the space of 12 minutes, headlined by a 13-minute first-half hat-trick for Ali Orglar. Alek Urashevsky getting his 13th of the season, the other of those 4 goals. And turning this fixture utterly on its head, leaving Wanderers in a hole, one that has been lessened slightly by that late goal right before the break from Aidan Simmons that gives them a platform to work on, but they are going to against one of the, if not the comeback kings of NPL New South Wales, Western Sydney, produce a performance of a similar stature, if anything is coming out of this one. Well, if the first half is any evidence, we've got plenty more goals on the way in the second 45. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other side of the break. The halftime score, Rockdale Ilinden 4, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.
Tomorrow night we've got a concert here at Rockdale Ilinden featuring Sebastian Siljanovski. There's still tickets available for that event. You can approach one of our committee members if you'd like to come down after tomorrow's Easter festivities. Next Tuesday night we are back at home here against Sutherland Sharks. It's the Australian Cup Round 5. Rockdale against Sutherland, 7:30 p.m. kickoff next Tuesday night in the Australian Cup. Come on down for that one. Reminder, the Ilinden Sports Centre is a smoke-free venue. Anyone wishing to smoke, please do so outside the perimeter. Thank you. Once again, a reminder, we are back at home here next Tuesday night in the Australian Cup in a qualified game against local rivals, the Sutherland Sharks. 7:30 p.m. kick-off for that one. That's Rockdale against Sutherland next Tuesday night here at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Next week in the league, we are away against the Central Coast Mariners up at Plume Park. That's next Sunday, we are away against Central Coast Mariners up at Plume Park, 3 p.m. kick-off for that one. Sunday the 4th of May against Sydney Olympic. That's Rockdale against Sydney Olympic in the league. Sunday 4th of May, 3 p.m. kick-off for that one. As the players make their way back onto the field, can all the children on the field please get off the field? Thank you. Only ball boys on the field. All other kids off the field. Thank you. All the kids at the southern end, unless you're a ball boy, can you please make your way off the field? Thank you.
Welcome back to the Ilinden Sports Centre, where Rockdale, the reigning premiers, are about to take us back in to the utter chaos that has been Rockdale Ilinden 4, Western Sydney Wanderers 1 after 45 minutes of football played. It was a game that looked, on the early evidence, to be a ding-dong battle, a tight affair, and one that, frankly, the Wanderers were shading in the opening 20 minutes of play, creating some great chances to score through Alat Abdul Rahman and Awan Lual. Only for Ali Ugla to pop up in the 20th minute for a goal that just detonated a bomb on this fixture. Ali Ugla got a first-half hat-trick. He's trying to return provider for Urashevsky, who hits the deck. And Eric Saba obliges the appeals. It is going to be a penalty for Rockdale, and the chaos is going to continue. We couldn't even wrap up what's happened in the first 45. And already inside the opening minute of this second stanza, or just past it, there is more drama on the way. And it's a red card for the Wanderers as well. Will the drama ever end in this game? Urashevsky is going to step up for the chance to make it 5-1. And Nathan Barry, who, let's not forget, was yellow carded in the first half, has now received his marching orders. So Urashevsky, of those 4 goals that were scored in the blink of an eye by Rockdale, got one of them. This is for his brace. It's the trademark long run up, and it's the trademark finish.
Goal scored by Alec Urashevsky.
When Alec Urashevsky steps up to the spot, there is usually only one result: a goal at the Ilinden Sports Centre. 11 games played, 14 already for the Baker. And his quite incredible goal-scoring run in this quite crazy fixture continues. It's 5-1 Rockdale. The Wanderers down to 10. And we are only 2 minutes into the second half. And Alec Urashevsky will be really fancying his chances now of scoring what would be another hat-trick and an 8th goal in 6 games against the Western Sydney Wanderers. He had 5 in 5 going into this game. He has added to that tally. He's never scored a hat-trick against this academy side. He's also chasing down another place in the top 5 of greatest top-flight goal scorers in New South Wales footballing history. 2 tonight, taking him up to 143 all-time top-flight goals in league football. Steve Karavatkis sitting in 4th on 145. So I know he's good. I'm not sure, I'm not claiming that he's going to catch Steve Karavatkis tonight, but he is certainly going to put himself in position to close in on a spot in the top 4 as he looks to chase down Herbert Ninaus, who was a Socceroo, let's not forget, on 162 goals. So he is less than 20 away, and if he continues this frankly absurd goal-scoring run this season, he will clear it by the end of the campaign. Crunch the numbers going into tonight on Alec Urashevsky. Going at a goal every 79 minutes before this fixture, so it'll be even better at this stage tonight. It'll be improved on that number, if you can believe it. A goal every 79 minutes. If he keeps that rate up, he will have scored 23 more goals by the end of the season, which, and I can barely believe I'm saying this, will put him at 35 goals for the campaign and see him overtake Ninaus as New South Wales' greatest goal scorer, as it's in the middle and it wasn't far away at the back stick for Moody Najjar. Muglar sitting pretty on his first half hat-trick, trying to turn provider. And unfortunately for the Wanderers, that promising start to this game just feels a million miles away now. It feels like an eternity ago. And it's pretty much damage limitation from this point on. Unless Abdul Rahman. Lawal making the movements in the middle. And it is a free kick. And a card for Hunter Elliott, who will want to be careful for what remains of this first half, because, or second half rather, because has already been sent off once this season against Marconi. What does Richie Cardozo want to see from his side in what remains of this game? What will he see from what remains in this game? A bit of fight, you would imagine. Not that they have struggled to show that in parts of this game. If they can add anything with 10, I think they'll see that as a positive result. Haddad's delivery, flicked on at the near post, and Nick Soros watches it sail over his goal. Decent delivery, though, just dipping at the right time from Edmund Haddad, who really has been one of the brighter players for the Wanderers. They made 2 changes to that back four today. No Ricky Franson, no Tristan Vidakovic. And suffice it to say, I think the Wanderers' backline is feeling the effects. Haddad and Cormor. Still plenty of space in this game for the Wanderers. They carry it forward quickly, but the problem is, as much space as they might be getting, Rockdale with the man advantage are going to access even more. Ugla, fancy feet. Too much for Anthony Barbic to handle. Taken quickly. Speranza drills it in. Chalakian twisting, turning, scoring beautifully.
Goal scored by number 10.
A super goal from Brendan Chalakian. And it's a very sweet 6th for the reigning premiers. And the goal rush at the Ilinden Sports Centre continues. 54 minutes played, 7 on the board, 6-1 in favour of Rockdale Ilinden. How good was the play? It was a pinpoint ball from Speranza and the little dummy from Chalakian to send his marker to the shops. So easy on the eye. And they are at their best, Ilinden. They are brilliant to watch in attack. And they're going some way to catching up an Apia side who, in terms of goals scored this season, had absolutely raced away. What a delightful turn from Ugla. It's going to eventually be blocked out, and that ball has sailed into the tree just right of the gantry here at the Ilinden Sports Centre. I'm a lucky man that one wasn't a few more metres to the left of the Wanderers' defence, that clearance.
Substitutions for the Wanderers coming off at number 10, Edmund Haddad.
And Dallo Sandy is going to be the first substitute to enter the fray for Western Sydney.
And also coming on is number 7, Dallo Sandy.
He did score against Rockdale last season. Najjar fires, but it's offline. There is better news if you're watching this one and of a Wanderers persuasion. The A-League men's side leading at 2-1 against Melbourne City out at Combank. And Cormor up and under pass. Pretty football. This second ball important. If Wanderers lost it, they would have been in trouble. Across comes Rashudo. Worked off it wonderfully by Lawal. And now Simmons. Jinking left and right. Leaving Rashudo for dead. Lawal's delivery stood up nicely, but just over the head of Khan Nizam, who's also come onto the field. Kermalevsky. He was scythed down by Simmons. And Kopp kicked the ball away. Is he going to earn himself a ticket here? At the very least, a stern talking to. Aiden Simmons is also getting a bit of a lecture and getting a card at the end of all of that too. I think maybe for repeat actions of dissent. Speranza back to Rashuto. Saunters out of central defence. And feeds Oglar, who was in an offside position. I was going to say, it looked like there was maybe a few players saying that that ball had gone out of play, but certainly was just in bounds. We had a good view of that one. I'm sure you did too at home. Looks like Paul D and Paddy Nickus and the Rockdale coaches are going to respond with their own change. Braden Sorge readying himself to come on for, I believe, Rockdale appearance number 152. We saw he, Alek Urashevsky and Blake Rashuto all honoured a couple of weeks ago, bringing up 150, 250 and 100 milestones respectively. Here is the 102 gamer Rashuto to miss the 252. Urashevsky, now Muri Najjar manages to keep it alive and find a teammate. Twisting nicely, lifted into the box. Uglar wasn't well positioned to receive, but was well positioned to win a corner. Great fighting. Or in fact, forlorn fighting. They'll kick the final decision, so Lucas Sinnott will resume play. It's going to be a raft of changes. For Rockdale. Triple change. Braden Sorge, Matt Karamalevsky. Oh, I apologise, I've had my 11 multiples mixed up since Hockey Constable's injury. Chris McStay was the player who replaced him, and Bray Ovens looks like will be the other of that three of Rockdale players to come on. Oglar and Giorgio Speranza given a rest, and it's only two changes for now. Bray Ovens has made his way to the touchline, but who is he going to replace? Oglar came flying in. Simmons. Khan Nizam. Lual flicks it through. Simmons takes it nicely and saved by Soras. Turned in, only for the offside flag to come up. Khan Nizam denied a goal off the bench. A really interesting situation here. Sorge and Karamalevsky both came on, joining Chris McStay as the third substitute of the evening. Oh, and it's gotten really incendiary between Kopp and Karamalevsky. And Karamalevsky while Kopp did go down delayed and easily, there is no doubt that there was a hand straight into his face by the 23-year-old Rockdale defender who got sent off on 4 separate occasions back at St George City last season. And it's just a card of a yellow variety for Karamalevsky.
Ask him if he's alright. It might be a broken cheekbone. It might be a broken cheekbone. Check him.
There's not much competition on the scoreline, unfortunately, but there's certainly still plenty of feeling in this game. Hayden Simmons has been very chippy in a war of words with Alec Urashevsky, Blake Rashudo, and a number of other Rockdale players marched in to critique the reaction of Julian Kopp. The fourth official is laying down the law to Richie Cardozo, who continues to supply his refereeing-related thoughts fairly freely. Urashevsky, outside of the foot pass, delightful. And the back heel, not a bad one from Chalakian. Najar. One back by Nkomo. Break on. Awan Lual. Feeds Kopp, who just got his pass all wrong. Khan Nazam is over at the far post. Lual was coming through the middle. He opted for Hayden Simmons nearby, who wasn't really running forward at full pelt. Chalakian launches it over the top for Urashevsky, who is on hat-trick watch, but will look to provide at the back post for Najar. And now Chalakian, what a clearance! Super defending from Anthony Barbic to deny a certain seventh and a second for Brendan Chalakian. And we did muse as to what kind of response to going down to 10, going 6-1 down would Richie Cardozo want from his Wanderers side, and that sort of commitment to keeping it at 6, you would imagine, is what he would have been hoping for. Still alive though for Rockdale. The back post, Najar squares it up. No one can provide the telling touch. Sorge. Chalakian to Dunzo. And now McStay on the march. Plenty to aim at. None of them found. Another corner for Rockdale Ilinden, who will be on the road next week to Plume Park to take on the Central Coast Mariners. Here's the bad news for Western Sydney. They've been much better at home this year than they have away. We mentioned only one win in their last 15 on the road. 5 points from a possible 45. The away trips are going to continue in the next few weeks. St George City next week, although that's a massive game at the bottom end of the table, depending on results elsewhere. And that is one of their next 5 games on the road. Just a home clash with Blacktown City breaking up a bevy of away trips that includes the other St George FC, Central Coast, and Mount Druitt Town. Some really massive matchups for them. As the hat-trick hero leaves the field, Ali Oglar replaced by Bray Ovens. And we're going to get to see one of NPL New South Wales' teenage talents enter the fray. One of them not connected to an A-League Academy club. Jordan Grajorowski, at 17 years of age, enters the fray. It's the 6th appearance for him as the corner comes in. And it's loose in the area. Gorowski got a touch in, and it's over the top. Udashevsky's there. Sinot steps up with the save, but the Rockdale captain was offside in any case. More subs on the way. In a very busy second half indeed for fourth official Rory McFarlane, as Nick Battolato, the younger brother of Alex, comes onto the field, and Noah Peacock, who was quite impressive in his substitute appearance against Manly last week, comes off the pine as well. Very close to scoring what would have been his first NPL New South Wales goal for the Wanderers. Against his former junior club, Manly. Bit of a half-baked back pass from Sandy. It forces Barbic to do a bit of work, and he did it very wonderfully indeed. Karamaleski gets that one perfect. Chalakian bustled off it by Saxon Hillier. Paul D providing more instructions to young Jordan Borowski. McStay. Great to see him back at the Ilinden Sports Centre this season. After 2 years in the Illawarra with Wollongong, where he scored a handful of goals, actually, against Rockdale. You always wonder if that is what inspires clubs to bring players back, to sign players. Sure, it's not the whole reason, but you'd have to imagine it's part of the reason. It's been 3 years, though, since he did score at the Ilinden Sports Centre in red and black colours. Bray Ovens, what can he provide off the bench? Ooh. It was a cross, there's no doubting that, but it was goal bound as well. And a few hopeful oohs and ahs in the Ilinden grandstand as that one sailed past the far post. As we enter the final 20 minutes of a scintillating 6-1 stand from Rockdale Ilinden so far. And the worry is for the Wanderers, Rockdale are a very good late game team. A lot of the time, to be fair, it's because they're searching for a late comeback to seal all 3 points or to salvage one. They have scored 9 goals in the last 15 minutes of fixtures this season, which is of the 22 they had going into this game, which they're well clear of now. A free kick attempted to be taken quickly by the Wanderers, but not allowed by Eric Saba. Now we're getting the free kick. In by Battolato. Nodded away by Rashuto. And could the counter be on? Gorowski. Just too hot for Bray Ovens to handle. Richie Cardozo heading into the book here. He definitely is. He did have plenty of warnings, but you can understand his frustration this evening. It hasn't been his team's night, and it could have been rather different on another day. But after a slow start, you can take nothing away from Rockdale's response. Good teams find a way. And good teams, as the Wanderers have learnt tonight, can really, really hurt you. It speaks to the incredible attack of Apia Leichhardt this season that Rockdale have scored 6 tonight, and still they are 7 goals behind Leichhardt for the most effective attacking team, as that one flashes past the goal of Nick Soros. Certainly his team are continuing to be, as they were last season, one of the competition's great entertainers. Going to see a nice moment at the next available out for Riley Hollingdale. He's going to make his return as forward come Rockdale. Krajowski couldn't find a teammate. There was plenty of them to aim at. Sorge and McStay, wonderful link-up play, and lifted in. Udashevsky was going for something special. Might still get a shot off. Might turn provider. Oh, that's brilliant. A bullet from Bray Ovens. 7th heaven for Rockdale. And when Alec Udashevsky isn't turning goal scorer, he is more than happy to turn provider. It was a lovely instinctive finish from Bray Ovens, who delivers off the bench again for Ilinden. He's their super sub, and asked by Paul D and Paddy Neckis to do exactly that. Last outfielder on for the Wanderers, and it's good news from a youth team perspective. Riley Hollingdale, who was one of the stars of their team last season, is in for his first appearance of the campaign, having missed the opening 10 weeks of season 2025 at senior level. Kermalevsky, Bray Ovens. Will he return the favour for Udashevsky? Not yet, at least. Kermalevsky crossed in. Udashevsky's back heel not working out that time around. Not as good as the one he received for his first of 2 goals. Dallo Sandy. Room to manoeuvre for Khan Nizam, who was around Sorge in style. Nizam. Well, it's energetic. It's hopeful, at least, from the Wanderers. Anything at this point is consolatory. As Richie Cardozo will soon be turning his mind to that massive month of fixtures we mentioned, taking on the likes of St George City, Blacktown, St George FC, big games against the Mariners Academy and Mount Druitt as well. Bray Ovens. Chalakian misses it in flight. Rockdale showing no signs of slowing. And they're not the reigning premiers for no reason. They know the value of adding goals on when they're there to be got. How important goal difference could prove in a tight top 6, in a tight battle for the premiership. 3 points valuable in the quest to catch down a undefeated Marconi. Simmons. It's a well-intentioned ball, but there's no one home to actually receive it. Sorge couldn't clear the hurdle that was the Wanderers' midfield. Nikolovsky roost into the night sky. It's another stoppage in play for a team member on the turf. This time it's a Rockdale player, Isaac Danzo, it looks like. And having lost one already of his very valuable, very effective, frankly very good midfield three in Brendan Chalaki and Isaac Danzo and Lockie Constable. The latter of those subbed off with injury in the first half. Paul D and Paddy Nickas would not want to lose a second. Head coach duo. Well, the head and assistant coach duo, I should say. See, Isaac Danzo is up to his feet, walking towards the touchline for what will hopefully be a smooth and swift re-entry into the game. I think Rockdale would be playing with 10 if he couldn't. Used all their outfield subs and all their substitution windows, but that won't matter because Isaac Danzo is back onto the field. McStay firing into the feet of Growski. Can the Australian Youth International do? Not much with that hot football from Braden Sorge. Nikolovsky giving away the foul, and Rockdale will be hoping to make it 2-2 against the A-League Academy outfits. Obviously, we mentioned that trip they've got to Plume Park next week, but 2 wins, and by that point, 5 games unbeaten in all competitions would set them up very nicely for a massive clash against Sydney Olympic. Resurgent Sydney Olympic. We've had a ball kid go down there. It's got to be one of the youngest ball kids I've ever seen. As the cross comes in, Urushevsky controls nicely, twists and turns, but can't maneuver his way into a shooting position. Dallo Sandy. It's put too much meat on it, unfortunately. Can chalk this one up as a night to forget the Wanderers, but there has still been some good football in amongst the mire to reflect on, to remember. Krajowski. ambling towards goal. Sorge further forward, turned into the penalty area and sent back from whence it came by the Wanderers' defence. McStay. Dunzel. Karamilevsky. They'll try from the left, will Rockdale. Urashevsky wants the give and go, doesn't get it. Chalakian couldn't really keep a hold of the give. Into the final 10 minutes. Rockdale in search of an eighth. Western Sydney in search of the full-time whistle. Karamilevsky. Grajowski. Great ball. Great 1-2 with McStay. The 17-year-old is saved away by Sinnott. It would have been a first senior NPL goal for the teenager, as Aidan Simmons went on a one-man mission. Found Khan Nizam, now on Cornwall. Rockdale still working hard to get back and deny space. Nizam is cut across pretty clearly by Braden Sorge. No complaints about that one from the Rockdale veteran, I would imagine. There's been chaos across the board. In the south of Sydney, down the road at Barton Park, St George down 4-2 to a 10-men Sydney United as the free kick comes in and hits the roof of the net from Dallo Sandy. It would have been a consolation prize, but still would have been something to savour. Karamilevsky. The threat of Urashevsky still looms so large for this Wanderers defence. Let's be so keen on this hat-trick. Not the best link up though from the two Bs, Bray and Brendan. Ovens attempts to atone though, winning the ball back cleanly, despite the protestations of the Wanderers. Dunzel. McStay. Good passing play by Rockdale. Grajowski. Back to Sorge. Intricate stuff. Chalakian. Cutouts by the Wanderers defence. An Ilinden corner in front of the fans who want more. Not satisfied are Rockdale with a seventh. Urashevsky has come wide. He wants to keep things moving. To the top of the box it goes. McStay, one way, then the other. Chris McStay, a save, and Risciuto can't bundle it in on the follow-up. Second goal in as many weeks. Would have continued his, frankly, incredible record, Blake Risciuto, scoring goals in this return stint from Singapore for Rockdale. Scored 6 goals since coming back to the Ilinden Sports Centre. And in games that he's scored, Rockdale have won every single one. And what makes it even more impressive, of those 6, 4 of them have been match-winning goals. If you count the 2-1 goal last week before Ali Ugla made it 3-1. Nizam, Simmons fouled himself. And it's been that sort of a day for the Wanderers. Chalakian, great control. Urashevsky with Ovens for company. He darts the eyes up. Alek Urashevsky, what does he decide to do? He drills it in! And it's a brace from Bray. Off the bench. Their impact sub delivers a double. And Alek Urashevsky has a hand in it again to make it 8-1. Rockdale Ilinden. You could see how long he tanked on it, Urashevsky. And the fans at the Ilinden Sports Centre, the young kids are loving what they're seeing. But Urashevsky just was biding his time, working out what to do, waiting for runners to arrive. And Bray Ovens came crashing through the defensive pack to nod it home for his second and Ilinden's 8th. Karemelevsky manages to work it through. Urashevsky, is this the moment? No. The time is working against him now. It's a very harsh critic when you're almost disappointed in yourself not to have scored a hat-trick in a game, but that is the kind of goal scorer that Alek Urashevsky is. I know it's been said already, but 14 goals in 11 games this season for the Baker. Just utterly, utterly absurd for this living Rockdale legend. As Hollingdale runs out of real estate and gives away the free kick in his frustration. It's the kind of result where sometimes you'd see the referee blow the whistle right on full time, but there is still goals to be had potentially for Rockdale. Not this time though, Urashevsky offside. He does ride the last line of defence pretty tightly. Sometimes these big results, you see it blown right on 90. Not the case here. 3 more minutes. If Rockdale really want to go for broke and approach record goal scoring territory. 270 seconds of pain left for the Wanderers, who can put this one to bed. Urashevsky felled, free kick. And could Western Sydney be down to 9 here? No. It's just a yellow card. But it's a free kick in a position of some promise. And no shortage of players who have got form with this sort of thing. And already the conversation is in overdrive for who is going to get to take this. Rashuto and Chalakian both came in to protest their case. Remember, one of Alek Urashevsky's record-breaking goals came at this end from a fantastic free kick at the Ilinden Sports Centre. And their captain, Fantastic, has pulled rank. It would be 3 of the best from Alek Urashevsky. Didn't get the bend because the Wanderers wall did its job. Perhaps a final corner in the embers of stoppage time. Next day to deliver as the red and black shirts get on the move, and Lucas Sinnott could only get fingertips to it, but part of the reason why is because he was cleared out from underneath by Blake Rashudo, so Eric Saba awarding a pressure-relieving free kick for the young keeper. We did not picture his return to the senior lineup going quite like this. Khan Nizam, delicate pass. Hollingdale, Peacock is moving in the middle. Sorge is getting in the way. Chalakian launches it. Urashevsky is on the move. The foot race is on. Alec Urashevsky can't get there. As the referee sounds the final whistle on a Rockdale rampage. 8 for Ilinden on a huge Saturday night on Easter weekend. 1 for the Western Sydney Wanderers on an evening they will quickly look to put behind them. It was chaos at the Ilinden Sports Centre from minute 1 to minute 90, and it could have been so different. The opening 20 minutes were really bright for Western Sydney Wanderers. They had 2 great chances to open the scoring in the game, and then that awakened the beast that was Ali Oglar to nip in with a first half hat-trick. He scored his first on the 20th minute mark, and not that long later did he have a hat-trick. It took him all of 12 minutes. Alec Urashevsky got the first of 2 goals for him to get 4 in the first half for Rockdale. Hayden Simmons, of course, pulled one back at the break, and that gave the Wanderers a bit of hope, but it was swiftly dashed minutes into the second stanza. A red card for Nathan Barry, a penalty dispatched by Alec Urashevsky before Brendan Chalakian got his name on the board with a quality finish, and Bray Ovens arrived off the bench with a quick-fire double and a star-studded attacking display that puts the competition on notice. The reigning premiers are firing in front of goals, and they are 4 games unbeaten in all competitions. An entertaining fixture out at the Ilinden Sports Centre, and one that the home fans have very much enjoyed. We farewell you from Rockdale. The final score, Rockdale Ilinden 8, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.